morning and welcome to another great Tuesday morning edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own Money Truth expert and Money Whisperer, Judy Copenbarger. How are you?
I'm great, Carlos. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fantastic because it's a beautiful day out there. It's going to be nice and a little too hot for my taste, but it's a beautiful day regardless. And here we are talking about Money Truth. How are you?
Here we are. I'm doing awesome. It was a beautiful Labor Day weekend and it was warm, but just so gorgeous. This time of year, you think about getting back to school, which we're going to talk about. And everybody's just, got this energy about new things, new blank slate, brand new everything. So it's very exciting. Very exciting. I feel good.
All right, that's great to know. And folks, thank you for joining us this morning. If you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.today. There's a wealth of free stuff on there that great resources for you. And we're going to talk about some key issues today. We've been talking about, we went through our summer, we started prepping for college. Some of our high schoolers going into high school and some going into college. And today we get to talk about, we always talk about something fun, right? But today's it's even better because we're talking about meal planning and budgeting for busy school days. So how do we make our lives easier, right? Not only as parents, but as kids as well too. So what do you say we get started?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. So you've had some experience with your little ones, right? Not so little anymore. But talk to us about some cost-effective meal plannings for like school lunches and snacks that we don't really think about.
Oh, yeah. I remember, when they were littles and we had a suburban full of, 5 kids, mostly in car seats and all that stuff. I remember just driving them to gymnastics and soccer and baseball and music and church stuff and school stuff and blah. And in the morning, you throw them a bagel, later you throw them a taco or you throw them a burger. It's really not feasible anymore. You look at what's happened to the costs of fast food, and particularly here in California, where the minimum wage is, I think, among the highest, if not the highest in the States. The cost of everything has gone up, but that fast food, it's just amazing what it costs just for a little, a burger, fries, and a Coke. And you do that times 5, 6, or 7. It's really not feasible now to be, tossing food as you're driving around. So it's time, ladies, gentlemen, it's time to prep and plan ahead. And if budgeting is top of mind for you, saving money on food and making it feasible, this is one of the biggest line items for most people when we're looking at spending plans. Food, the costs of going out, the costs of groceries, the cost of preparing food, and it's one of the biggest variables that we have. If things are tight, you're in this bottleneck of finances. It's one of the easiest ways to get some of that pressure relieved is with meal costs. And it just takes a little planning. So many things that you can do for cost-effective meals, the school lunches, the snacks, all that stuff. Why not pack? Remember in the old days, we actually took our snacks and our lunch to school
Yeah.
instead of going to the deli there or the cafeteria, whatever they have there. I think now it's pretty much food courts. Even grade schools and high schools have food courts. I'm not sure how nutritious they are, but the cost is
Right.
there. So just getting back to, it's Sunday afternoon, you get out your prep plans for the week, and here's what we're going to eat. Here's the lunches we're going to pack and all of that stuff. Let's bring back the crock pot. Remember the crock pot?
Yes.
And
Yes. I remember that.
let's bring it back. Now they have air fryers and all these other, cooking pots and things like that. But bring back something that works where you're making a whole big, simple, cost-effective meal that can be kept warm. And when the kids need it, snacks or in between sports or on their way to activities after school and things like that, it's ready. Or when they get home from school, it's ready. For dinner time, it's ready. You maybe even start it in the morning. And by dinner, the house smells good. It's time to eat. And those can be very, very inexpensive meals.
So I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. So I'm dying to know here. What was your kid's favorite lunch that when you packed it for them? Like, what did they say? Hey, mom, can you do this one again this week?
Well, it's not the best motherly advice that I have, and I don't know if they still have them, but they loved the Lunchables. It's like a
Oh,
little baby charcuterie. Do
yeah,
you remember those?
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
a little bit of meat, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of crackers, things like that. So you get a little variety, 4 or 5 little things all in one pack. pouch. They loved that, and that was special. That was a treat because it was costly, right?
Yeah.
So they would probably answer that way, which doesn't make me the, Mother of the Year award winner. But we did do that occasionally. But we were just, sandwiches and fruit and cheese sticks and things like that in our house, kind of boring. But from an early age, they would pack their own. And I think that might be a key too. So they're not trading, for
Right.
junk the other kids have. Have them pack what they like. And you can have healthy choices and they can choose from, the yellow cheese or the white cheese, things like that. Um, but I think when you feed them better, they perform better. They feel better. And if they get to have a choice in that, I think you have a better shot of them eating well when they're younger.
That's true. And what I remember is when you were little, your little lunch pail. So that was like the coolest thing, and your thermos inside of that, right? And
Oh
then when
yeah,
you got into like junior high, it was more like it was brown bagging stuff, and you kind of moved up. You graduated to more adult lunch, right? When
yeah,
we went to school. But
yeah.
I will tell you that to this day, there's something about a brand new thermos that just takes me right back to elementary school. There's a certain scent, and I don't know if this happens to you, like you may be out of somewhere, and there's certain scents that just take you back to exactly where you were at that time, you know?
Yeah, and you get a fresh one that doesn't have the grime around
Yeah,
the
yep,
the lid anymore. A fresh one, in the fall. Yeah, I remember that. And I
yeah,
don't know that my kids had thermoses. They may have early, maybe preschool, kindergarten, first grade. But later they didn't. They were more of the juice boxes or the water.
yes,
They
yeah,
were pretty much water kids. Still are. So bottles
awesome.
of water or their own water, container.
So this actually is perfect because it leads us right into our next question. Talk to us a little bit about some tips for grocery shopping, especially on a budget, right? For watching everything.
Yeah, you use coupons. Coupons aren't what they used to be. So anyone under 40, they have no idea about clipping coupons in the newspaper. Yeah. What's a
Yep.
newspaper, right? But we actually used to do that or you get them in the mail and you'd save them. You don't see that so much anymore. Now it's pretty much all the ads are on the phone, on the apps. And so if you're shopping at a grocery store or two, here we've got half a dozen within a couple of miles of us. So we circulate to them. But you look on the apps on your phone, and that's where the ads are going to be for most stores in the suburbia anymore. And so that's where you're going to find them. I think it always helps also to shop with a list. You get in trouble shopping hungry, and you get in trouble shopping with no list. You go up and down the aisles, and the people that set those aisles up, the marketers, they know
Yeah.
exactly what you're going to be putting in your cart. The high profit items, probably lower nutrition items. I don't know. But it seems to be the junk that when you're hungry goes in the. I can't shop with my husband when he's hungry. I'll tell you, Larry he's worse than a kid. When I'll be checking out and it's like, where did the ho-hos come from? Where did the cookies come from? How many pints of Haagen-Dazs do we need? It's like, how did
Uh,
those get in the cart? And then he just kind of looks the other way. It's like, really?
that's awesome.
But if you're hungry, that's going to happen. So always shop with a list. Know what you're going in for, especially if you're in that season where you're prepping and you're planning your meals, a week ahead or so at a time. Freezing meals, doing the ones, chili nights, taco nights, all those things. Why not have Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon in the kitchen with the kids and let them learn how to cook and how to prep too? Right? Instead of just how to make reservations and order Chinese food. Why not have them learn with you how to do those things? Making your own pizza, your own flatbreads, and they even have healthy crusts, if you really want to do the nutrition thing. But everybody loves pizza. It's inexpensive, it's can be healthy, and it's fun to do, and everybody gets their hands on the dough and throws the dough, and it's fun to do. It gets the kids learning about food and about budgeting in the kitchen and prepping. Why not just incorporate that with some of your weekend activities?
That's true. And I think one of the key things we forget, especially nowadays, is that we want to make sure we stay back active, right? We want to make sure our kids stay healthy. And that's a great point that you bring up too, because life happens. We're always on the go. It's easy to go to a fast food place and just, stuff your face with just a lot of junk as well too. So talk to us a little bit about that health factor, right? Prepping healthy. doing affordable meals. I'm sure you've had a lot of experience with that. I'm sure I have as well too. And how are you able to stick to some of that?
Well, I think our our internet is one of our I guess it's our friendliest friend and our foeiest foe. It can be, a really double-edged sword online. But if you just Google cheap and easy meals, it's amazing what comes up. The creative juices that people share, the things that they come up with that are very inexpensive. The other day I found a recipe. I wasn't even looking. You know how sometimes they find you.
Mhm.
And it was this amazing recipe. I have to tell you, it's just the coolest thing ever. But it was a head of cabbage. It was hollowed out. And then inside, they added some hamburger meat and some spices and some rice and tomato sauce and things like that. And made
Wow.
basically a stuffed cabbage in the cabbage. And it was one pot, one lid on low for like 20 minutes. And this whole meal emerged. And they even had like fried eggs on top. And I was
Wow.
thinking that's like low cost, low time, low maintenance. There's no dishes to do, one pot and a lid, right? That was just steaming something. I thought that's the coolest ever. And although you have to pay for, a pound of meat and you have to pay for the cabbage unless you grow it, right? You're going to have a little bit of costs, but that's a pretty hefty meal for maybe 4 people, right? Maybe even more if you have littles, and healthy and wonderful. And I'll bet you the cost of that, even if you got premium ground beef, is probably 10 or $12 for the whole meal.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe. So there are so many things that you can just Google, but fast and cheap meals, use fresh veggies and take the time to prep them. If you buy green beans that are already cut up and already, ready to go and just throw in the pot, they're going to cost 3 times if you buy the green beans and you wash them yourself, right? And cut off the stems yourself. So things like that, you can really make a difference. The other day, Labor Day, right? Barbecue. I went to the deli where they have all the barbecue stuff, and they had stuffed peppers and stuffed mushrooms and all these great things that were in the cellophane ready to just throw on the barbecue. And I
Yes,
thought,
yes,
oh,
yes. Thank you.
I know. I thought those look so good. And then I looked at the prices and it's like, those don't look so good. It was
Yeah.
6 mushroom caps, and it was stuffed with, spinach and mozzarella and some, veggies. I
Um,
thought, "Oh, that looks amazing." I thought, "I could do that." And it was over $10. It's like, "Ugh, I'm not gonna do that." And so we had a big house full. So I went and I got my own mushrooms. I took the caps out, did the whole thing. I bought a little package of spinach. I usually grow it, but we didn't have any right now because it's been so hot, right? When spinach doesn't
mhm.
like hot. So, and I had mozzarella already, and I stuffed my own mushroom caps, and they were amazing. And I had like 30 for $6.
Wow.
So it took a little extra time, but I think they were a
Right.
lot better. And it was, a little bit of prep, but it was cost effective. So things like that, if you just kind of add to your calendar time to do things like that, and if you can make it family time even better, those are things that you can do. And there's always offers for people bartering. If you go on Nextdoor, whatever your local community app is, there's always people saying, "Hey, I've got lemons on my tree. Come and get them. I've got extra pomegranates. Come and get them. I grew too much herbs. I'm cleaning out my gardens. Come and get it." There's always somebody bartering or giving away things that can ease your budget in the kitchen. So look for those things.
So you're talking about like the stuffed cabbage and stuff. I grew up with actually my best friend growing up. His dad was Greek, and he was very good at cooking. He was a single father, but he made these amazing dishes where I was first introduced to stuffed bell peppers. They were
Oh,
like the best thing ever, right? And then my mom used to make like the stuffed tomatoes, and then she actually started making some of the bell peppers and stuff. And you're talking about all this, I'm like, oh man, I just remember all that. I haven't had that in a long time. I see,
so
like you said,
good.
yeah, I see it like even at for example, at some of the bigger stores where they have the stuffed bell peppers ready for you to put them in the oven. But you're right. It's like how much extra are you spending versus you taking the time to do it. And I think it's trying to find that balance between work, family, and cooking
Yeah,
to be able
yeah,
to do that. And I'm gonna say, folks, if you're out there listening, and this is again, you got to be frugal, but there are some options where you can take those meal preps and just like Judy said, just find the time to take an hour. right? And lay it all out for the week. Make it family fun and all. And I think you're going to save a lot of money, but all this talk about food, I'm getting hungry, so
Okay, show's over. Let's go eat.
yeah, we need to do a cooking show for sure, like exchange recipes and all that good stuff too. So
I love it. I love it.
yeah. Folks, thanks for joining us this morning. If you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.today. Today we're talking about definitely how to prepare meal planning and budgeting for busy school days. So if you're just joining us, please watch the beginning of the show. There's a lot of great fun tips and stuff for you guys to save some money while getting your family ready for school and trying to save on there as well too. If you're not following her, please do so at judycopenbarger.today. And it kind of leads us to the end of the show, which usually means it's our money. I should call it our money truth food challenge, right? Almost.
It is kind of a foodie day, isn't
Right?
it? I think all the
Yep.
barbecues this weekend, we're thinking,
Yes.
and then we have this big famous, I'm in Southern California. So in Old Town Orange, they have this big famous food fair. And so it's
Oh,
all
wow.
about anything you'd ever have at a fair or a carnival or an outdoor event. They have all of that all in one place, International Street Fair.
Wow.
I know. So that's on my mind too. We didn't go this year, but it's like, oh, there's a lot of good food around this time of year. But I have a challenge for you. And the challenge has to do with how to save money in the kitchen, how to save money with that line item of food for your family. And so the challenge is to make a list of 5 things that you can do more, better, or different to cut the costs of groceries and eating out at your house. It might be next time, if we go out to pizza every Friday night, what if we went out 3 times instead of 4 times this month? And on that 4th week, made it at home. Could we save some money doing that? Can we establish every Tuesday night is taco night? Every Thursday night is chili night? Are we going to have burger night? Are we going to do, something? Maybe we have breakfast for dinner. That can be very inexpensive, right? It's eggs and bacon and pancakes for dinner, which is kind of fun too. And why not eat under the dining room table instead of at the dining room table, right? Make it fun. If you have littles, let's go camping, just make mealtime fun. It can be nutritious, fun, and inexpensive all at once. And maybe one of the challenges could be a line item that says, do we have to eat out all the time? Do we have to do fast food all the time? Sure, it's convenient, but is there something we can do more, better, or different to cut that cost of driving through and doing all that convenient stuff? What can we do? So that's your challenge. Write down 5 things and implement at least one of them this week. There you go.
All right. Well, I can't wait to share with you next week what we come up with. But some of the stuff you hit on, it's just can't wait to try some of that. And as a matter of fact, I don't know. I may actually end up going to get something to eat or make something because I'm hungry now. Thank you. Let's talk about food.
Awesome.
All right, folks. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, we are here every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. with a replay on Thursdays at 8 p.m. And like I said before, if you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.today. Follow her on social media. And also submit any questions you may have regarding the topics we're covering, any future topics that you want Judy to address. Don't hesitate to send us a message. Judy, any last parting words?
Make it a great week.
All right. Until next week. Take care, you guys.
Bye-bye.